Think of someone and they text 1111, 2222, everywhere. You open a book. It falls on the answer you needed. If these coincidences keep stacking up, don't shrug them off. This isn't cute randomness. It's a hidden map revealing itself. Synchronicity. Today, we'll learn to read that map, safely and clearly. 5 criteria to tell real signals from pattern seeking. The questions that invite guidance, how to stay grounded and avoid superstition, and the red flags when the ego swells at signs. Stay to the end for a simple 7-day practice, so you can test it yourself in your own life. If this kind of grounded Jungian work resonates, hit subscribe and keep listening. We're about to unpack synchronicity you can test in real life. You're not losing it. You're waking up. Inner balance psychology, a Jungian map for synchronicity, dreams, and the ego self-dance. Grounded tools, no superstition. Test it in your own life. So, if a hidden map really is revealing itself, how do we read it without getting lost? Let's start with the first doorway. Synchronicity, the moments that feel impossible to plan, yet arrive exactly on time. You think of someone, and they call, a lyric, a billboard, a line in a book, answers the question you didn't know how to ask. You can't force it. The harder you push, the quieter it gets. It shows up when you're honest, present, and willing to listen. What are we actually looking for when we say a real sign? 5 simple tests. 1. Inner resonance. It hits a live wire inside you, not just curiosity, but a felt click, a quiet yes. 2. Timing. It arrives at a hinge moment, a decision, a crossroads, where its meaning actually matters. 3. Thematic repetition. The same motif returns through different channels in a short window, not once, but again and again. 4. Ethical alignment. True guidance never asks you to trample boundaries, inflate your specialness, or betray your values. 5. Humility, afterglow. When it's real, you feel lighter, clearer, a little more human, not grander, not above others. How do we invite guidance without turning life into a scavenger hunt for omens? Start simple. In the morning, ask softly, "What wants my attention today?" Then, live your day normally. At night, jot down 3 to 5 moments that carried a whiff of meaning. Note what you felt in your body and ask, if this were an answer, what was my real question? Close with one small action that would honor the message. Tomorrow, remember, synchronicity isn't fortune-telling. It's a subtle language between ego and self, between the person you appear to be and the deeper center that holds your life together. Jung called the background field the unus mundus, a hidden order where meaning and event touch. We don't worship the signs, we let them illuminate the next right step, a few don'ts, so you stay grounded. Don't outsource responsibility. A sign can nudge, but you choose. Don't chase patterns everywhere. That's just the brain looking for fireworks. Don't use spirituality to avoid difficult conversations or practical work. A few do's to keep your feet on the ground. Do keep a brief log, dates, moments, your emotional tone. Watch for gentle patterns. Do share with one discerning friend who can reflect without hype. Do keep your life simple. Clear sleep, clean food, a little movement. Meaning speaks best into uncluttered space. If a sign seems to crown you as chosen, breathe. Step back. Let the moment pass through you. Real guidance humbles, connects, and asks for honest labor. Sometimes the most sacred response is a small, ordinary next step. So, we have a language, a map that flickers on when we pay honest attention. In a moment, we'll explore what allows you to hold opposites without tearing. The bridge Jung called the transcendent function, the capacity to say both, where you once could only say either, and to let a third way quietly appear. The next doorway is the bridge between opposites. Jung called it the transcendent function, the capacity to hold tension long enough for a third way to appear. Most of us grew up with either or, stay or leave, speak or stay silent, head or heart. When awakening deepens, you begin to feel the invitation to both and, not indecision, but a larger container that can include what fights inside you. Here is the shape of it. Two truths, pulling in different directions, both valid, both painful to betray. If you rush to choose, you break something. If you stall forever, you break something else. The transcendent function asks you to remain inside the living tension, not as punishment, but as the kiln where a wiser pattern forms, a simple picture. You crave expansion, new work, new city, and you crave rootedness, family, rhythm, a garden. Instead of forcing a verdict, you name both poles out loud. I want to grow, and I want to stay. You breathe, you feel where each lives in your body, and you refuse the quick escape into certainty. Day by day, a third possibility begins to show. Not a compromise that pleases nobody, but a configuration you couldn't design from the outside. Hybrid work. Seasons of travel nested inside seasons of home. A role that scales impact while protecting Sabbath. The third thing appears when you can tolerate the heat. How do we practice without drifting into abstraction? 5 moves. Small, steady. 1. Name the poles. Say the first truth and the second truth, plainly, without attacking either. I need boundaries, and I long for closeness. I need rest, and I love high standards. Naming softens the fight. It turns enemies into participants. 2. Locate them in the body. Where does yes live? Where does no live? Today, chest, jaw, belly, back. Place a hand there. Breathe. 3 slow cycles. Let the body have a vote. It often knows the proportion better than the mind. 3. Write the third sentence after the 2 opposing lines. Write one line that could hold them both. Not a perfect solution, just a workable path for the next week. I will protect Friday night and pour fully into my craft Monday to Thursday. I will not text after 9 p.m. and I will plan one intentional call each weekend. 4. Run a gentle experiment, 7 days, tiny, measurable, reversible. No grand gestures, just a living test. Return, revise, try again. The transcendent function grows with reps, not revelations. 5. Ask for a symbol. At night or on a walk. Invite an image, a word, a scene. Something small that carries the feel of the third way. A bridge at dusk, a spiral staircase, a tree on a cliff. Let the symbol anchor you when the old binary tries to drag you back. How do you know it's working? You feel less brittle, more permeable, Emotion still moves, but it moves through. You notice creativity returning, humor returning. You can sit across from someone who disagrees, stay curious, and still hold your ground. You stop needing the last word because you have a larger one inside. Common pitfalls to watch for: over-intellectualizing. If you're arguing your way to peace, you're still in the head. Return to body, breath. Tiny experiment, spiritual bypass, using both and to avoid a clear no or a hard conversation. The third way never cheats reality. It honors consequences. Inflation, feeling superior because you can hold paradox. The antidote is simple: service, dishes, trash, kindness. Let the ordinary keep you human. And a reminder: if you are in danger or inside abuse, you don't need a third way. You need safety. Choose safety, then rebuild nuance when your nervous system can rest. A micro practice for daily tone. The and breath. Inhale. I can be firm. Exhale. And I can be kind. Inhale. I can be brave. Exhale. And I can be afraid. 10 breaths, morning or night. You're not conjuring a mood, you're enlarging your frame. Another small practice, the two-chair dialogue, done quietly. Within, sit, feel your spine. Let one pole speak for 1 minute, uninterrupted. Switch. Let the other pole answer. 1 minute. Then sit as witness and ask, what wants to emerge that neither side could see? Write one actionable sentence. Do it within 24 hours. Over time, the transcendent function changes your style of being. You become a person who can carry complexity without leaking hostility. A person whose presence calms rooms because you don't force premature certainty. You let clarity ripen, and when it's ripe, you move. From here, a deeper channel opens at night. Dreams gather the threads you're holding and speak in images, not to entertain, but to guide, to correct, to enlarge. Next, we'll enter that quiet theater where the self whispers and learn how to remember, record, and respond so that the wisdom of the night can change what you do in the day. At night, another channel opens. Dreams are not random noise. They are a conversation with the self. Images speaking in a language older than words. Some dreams are housekeeping, sifting the day, and some are different, luminous, charged. They carry a quality of numinous, a quiet electricity. You wake with the sense, this matters, even if you don't yet know why. Sometimes they seem to anticipate life, not to impress us, but to prepare us, to correct our aim. How do we meet dreams so they can help us? In daylight, before sleep. Keep it simple. Dim the lights. Step away from the scroll. Whisper one gentle question. What wants to show itself for my good and the good of those I love? Place a notebook and pen by the bed. Promise yourself you'll write, even 2 lines. When you wake, stay still. Don't grab the phone. Catch one thread, a color, a place, a sentence. Write in the present tense. I walk, I turn, I hear. Note 3 things: what I see, what I feel in my body, and what I desire in the dream. Desire reveals the engine. Now, a simple frame, 3 voices, to work any dream. First, the dreamer. Who was I yesterday? What was alive in me? What was I avoiding? What did I hope for? What did I fear? Second, the dream itself. What actually happens, scene by scene, without interpretation. If this were a short film, what is the genre? A chase, a reunion, an exam, a birth. Third, the witness. From a quiet seat inside, what might this be asking of me? If the dream were a direction, not a verdict, where is it pointing? One small step I could test today. Most people rush to meanings before they honor the image. Slow down, stay with the picture, amplify it by association. What does this river remind me of in my life, in stories, in history, in myth? Let personal, cultural, and archetypal echoes ring together, meaning ripens. When you give images time, working with nightmares, a nightmare is a messenger that had to shout. If you can, turn toward the figure that pursues you, even just in writing. Ask, what do you want for me, not just from me? Draw the scene. Breathe while you look. 30 seconds. Nightmares soften when you give the energy a seat at the table. How do you tell a big dream from the ordinary churn? 3 clues. Intensity that lingers for days. A sense of otherness, as if it came from beyond your usual mind. And a shift in attitude. Humility, clarity, a quiet courage after you honor it. One caution: dreams speak in as if, not always in literal instruction. A dream about a breakup might ask for a boundary, not a divorce. A dream about death might ask for a phase to end, so a better one can begin. Test gently, with small actions, verify in reality, and be willing to revise. A short practice to fold into mornings. 1. Title the dream in 5 words or less. Give it a name you can remember. 2. Underline the image that glows. The staircase, the green door, the old teacher. 3. Write 1 sentence that begins, "The dream would like me to." Make it tiny, doable in 15 minutes. 4. Do it the same day. Action completes the circuit. It teaches the psyche. You are listening. If you dream rarely, be kind. Memory improves with the smallest rituals. Regular bedtime, less alcohol, a little magnesium, a dark room. Tell someone you trust that you're courting dreams. Attention invites return. If you dream often and feel overwhelmed, choose 1 dream a week to work. The goal isn't to decode everything, it's to transform how you walk. A few common symbols, handled lightly. Houses are states of self, basements, the underlife, attics, the stored ideals. Water, feeling tones, bridges, transitions, animals, instinct and energy. Vehicles, how you move through life and who's driving. But remember, your symbols are yours. A dog for me might be loyalty. A dog for you might be loss, or play, or fear. Always begin with your associations before any book. When a dream delivers criticism, receive it with warmth. The psyche corrects to protect the whole. When a dream delivers praise, receive it with humility. The psyche encourages what serves life. If you're facing trauma or repetitive terror at night, seek skilled help. Your nervous system deserves safety. Dream work is powerful, and sometimes we need a companion on that road. Over time, a pattern emerges. Dreams and days start to talk to each other. A question you carry returns in a scene you honor, returns as a changed day. You begin to trust that guidance arrives exactly when you can use it. So, we've listened at night and we've acted by day. Next, we'll look at the axis between ego and self. Why awakening doesn't erase the ego. It just ends its monopoly. And how to live with two screens, the one who speaks and the one who quietly sees, so you can move through the world steadier, kinder, and more free. Awakening doesn't erase the ego. It ends its monopoly. The ego is not the enemy. It's the day manager, the one who gets us fed, paid, and on time. What shifts is the center of gravity, from the ego at the center to the self at the center, and the ego as a good steward in service to something larger. Think of life with two screens. One screen is the one who speaks, plans, defends, wants. The other is the quiet witness, spacious, curious, kind. Both matter, but only one should drive. When the witness is online, moments feel roomier. You can feel anger and still choose dignity. You can feel fear and still pick the next right step. You don't collapse into impulses or into performance. You respond instead of react. A micro practice to bring the witness back. Hand on your chest or belly. Whisper, "Hi." Witness. 3 slow breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let the shoulders drop. Feel the chair hold you. Then ask, what is the next honest, kind, effective step? Why do we need this? Because awakening has a common trap. Inflation. You notice guidance. You taste synchronicity. And the ego swells. I'm chosen, above the rules, beyond feedback. Life is merciful. It sends compensation, little humblings, to bring you back to human size. Receive them with a bow. Thank you. I remember who I serve. Another practice. The 3 beats at thresholds. Before you hit send, 3 beats. Before you answer a hard question, 3 beats. Before you say yes or no, 3 beats. In those beats, name out loud. Ego wants X. Self points to Y. Often, a clean sentence appears. Kind, clear, and enough. Signals you are centered in self. Spacious body. Easier breath. A touch of warmth behind the breastbone. Less need to win. More desire to understand. Natural humility. And a small, practical next step becomes obvious. Signals you're back in ego-only mode. Tight jaw. Shallow breath. Urgency that feels like a fire alarm without a specific fire. All or nothing thoughts. A hunger to be seen as right, special, untouchable. When you see this, don't shame it. Name it. I'm activated. It's okay. I can steer gently back to center. A 3-part reset. When you've spun out, name it. I'm triggered. I'm scared. I'm angry. Normalize it. Humans feel this. Nothing is wrong with me. Navigate it. What is the smallest next step that reduces harm and increases truth? Tiny steps restore dignity. Ego and self can collaborate with a short inner dialogue. Morning check-in, 2 minutes. Let self ask 3 questions. What is true today? What matters most? What can I do that serves life? Let ego answer with 3 commitments. I will tell the truth kindly. I will finish the one task that moves the needle. I will rest before I am empty. Close with, I'm willing. Help me follow through. Boundaries are not anti-spiritual. They are pro-reality. A self-led life says clear yes, clear no, and keeps promises small enough to keep. If you are in harm's way, the most spiritual act is to get safe. Healing needs safety, then nuance. Remember the 90-second wave. Strong emotion rises, peaks, and falls. If you don't feed it with story, feel it in the body for 90 seconds. Hands warm, jaw soft, feet on the floor. When the wave passes, choose the next right sentence or step. Humor helps. The ego hates being laughed with, but the self loves it. A gentle smile at your own theatrics often breaks the spell. I almost declared a holy war over an email. Smile, exhale, write a calmer reply. Over time, 2 screens becomes a way of moving. Meetings feel different. Arguments end sooner. You keep your edge and lose your spikes. You still care, but you don't grip. Paradox becomes breathable air. From here, another vista opens. You begin to sense that your private story is also a very old story, that your struggles repeat motifs, your choices echo myths, not to make you grand, but to place you in a lineage of meaning. Next, we'll explore living mythologically, how archetypes constellate in ordinary life, how to recognize the pattern without wearing the mask, and how a larger story can make you steadier, kinder, and more free. Living mythologically doesn't mean pretending to be a hero. It means noticing that your private life keeps echoing very old patterns, not to inflate you, but to place you inside meaning. An archetype is a deep pattern of human experience. Mother and child, lover and beloved, mentor and seeker, death and rebirth, trickster and threshold. These are not costumes to wear. They are currents that sometimes flow through you. In ordinary life, the motifs are simple. A harsh boss constellates the shadow father. A demanding schedule constellates the taskmaster. A new relationship awakens the sacred marriage, the longing to unite opposites. A layoff initiates the descent, the stripping that precedes renewal. A sudden stroke of luck invites the trickster, who gives with one hand and tests with the other. How do you know a pattern has constellated? You feel a charge, disproportionate to the facts. Images cluster, songs, symbols, numbers. Your speech grows mythic. Always, never, fate, and your choices start to orbit one theme again and again. When you notice this, resist the urge to perform the role. Don't cosplay the hero. Don't self-crown as oracle. Instead, ask gentler questions. What story seems to be moving through me today? What phase am I in? Call, refusal, trial, aid, descent, return. What small, ethical action honors the story without making me grand? A simple practice, the Myth Lens Log. 5 lines each evening. 1. Title the day in myth words. Crossing the bridge, night sea journey. Return with help. 2. Name the archetype most active, mentor, lover, orphan, trickster. 3. Write the virtue it asks of you, courage, truth, restraint, tenderness. 4. Name the vice it tempts you toward, vanity, control, escapism, cruelty. 5. Commit one tiny act tomorrow that feeds the virtue and starves the vice. Another practice, the mask test. Ask, if no one could see this, would I still do it? If the answer is no, you might be wearing the mask instead of serving the pattern. A third practice, speak with the guardian. Before a big move, imagine the gate and the figure who blocks the way. Ask it, what competence or honesty must I gain to pass? Often the toll is practical, a skill, a boundary, an apology, not a miracle. Cautions to keep the myth clean. Beware projection. When an archetype is strong, we cast roles onto others, making a lover into a savior, a critic into a villain, a leader into a god. Pull the beam back. Name the story you're hungry for, then meet the actual person as they are. Beware romanticizing pain. Dissent is sacred, but suffering is not currency. If help is available, take it. Myth serves life, not the other way around. Beware grandiosity. Archetypal energy is bright. It can feel like destiny. Let dishes, sleep, and showing up on time trim the flame. The larger the story you sense, the smaller and kinder. Your next step should be, how does living mythologically help? It gives you orientation. When facts alone feel flat, it softens shame. Others have walked this road. It calls virtues by name. Patience in the waiting, courage at the crossing, mercy after victory. And it reminds you that returns are for sharing, not for status. A micro ritual. When a pattern is clear, light a candle. Name the motif. Today I walk the bridge. Name one fear, one strength, one helper. Blow the candle and take one concrete step. Send the email, decline the invitation, book the appointment. Let the act seal the story. How do you know you're wearing the myth well? You become simpler, not louder, more faithful to small promises, less addicted to displays. You feel part of a river without needing to be the river. And when the motif completes, release it. Don't cling to hero season. When it's time for apprentice season, stories cycle. Seeds need fall and winter to become spring. As you practice, you may sense something wider, that your little individuation participates in a larger one, that private clarity quietly feeds public good, that every time you choose truth or tenderness, the field around you gets a little cleaner. Next, we'll widen the lens, from personal myth to the collective movement of awakening, how irreversibility feels, how to stay humble inside momentum, and how your steady presence can serve a world in tension without burning you out. When your private story begins to steady, you may feel a wider current, as if your small clarity plugs into something collective, not to make you important, but to make you useful. Awakening has a flavor of irreversibility. Once you see, it's hard to unsee. Not because you are better, but because your nervous system now recognizes a truer rhythm. The task is humility inside momentum. To remember, the river carries you more than you carry the river. Think of yourself as a stabilizing node. You don't fix rooms, you regulate yourself, and rooms regulate around you. You don't win arguments, you host reality, and let truth do its slow work. Presence becomes service when it lowers heat and raises honesty. A few orienting principles for the we space. Small is faithful. Choose a human-sized lane, one relationship, one team, one neighborhood. Depth over breadth, consistency over spectacle. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Service, not saviorism. Help without rescuing. Support without fusion. Ask, what strengthens this person's dignity, even if I'm not needed later? Rescuing feeds your image. Service feeds their life. Field hygiene. Guard what enters your attention. Less outrage scrolling, more direct contact, more real work. If the feed spikes your nervous system, step away, put your feet on the floor, drink water, call a friend. You are allowed to be informed without being inflamed. 3 circles of care. Circle 1. What I can do today. Within reach. Circle 2. What I influence over months. By showing up. Circle 3. What I witness with compassion, without control. Spend most energy in Circle 1, some in Circle 2, almost none in Circle 3. Rhythm over heroics. Create a simple rule of life. Sleep enough, move a little, eat real food, keep one promise a day. Exhaustion makes cynics, rhythm makes elders. How do you contribute without burning out? Set edges around your yes. A clear start and stop for work, for volunteering, for listening. Leave some hours unclaimed so life can surprise you. Beauty and play are not luxuries, they are fuel. Practice truth in small doses. Say shorter, truer sentences. I don't know. I need time. That crossed a line. Truth without aggression travels farther. Hold conflict kindly. Name what you see without name-calling. Ask curious questions. What do you most hope for? What are you most afraid of? End with one concrete proposal. For the next 2 weeks, let's try X and review. Remember, the body is the commons. When rooms escalate, first regulate your own organism. Soften jaw, lengthen exhale, lower shoulders. You are not abandoning the moment. You are making it safer. When grief rises, let it have a chair. Private tears, water public courage. A world in tension doesn't need your numbness. It needs your tenderness with backbone. Watch for collective inflation. Movements glow, and we glow with them. Keep dish duty close. Take out the trash. Send thank you notes. Ordinary tasks. Puncture fantasy. And keep love practical. A question to carry in crowded times. What would reduce harm and increase truth in the next hour? Do that, then rest. If you work with trauma, injustice, or crisis, build companionship around you. Peer counsel, supervision, elders. We heal in networks, not as lone heroes. Over time, you will feel a quiet confidence, not because outcomes bend to your will, but because you are aligned with reality, one small step at a time. This is collective individuation, each person returning to center, making the field a little clearer, not by force, but by fidelity. Before we close, a few red flags to keep you grounded, so that meaning doesn't turn into mania, and zeal doesn't outrun wisdom. Then we'll end with a 7-day practice to weave all of this into your ordinary week. Red flags and grounding First, sign addiction. Chasing omens everywhere, turning life into a scavenger hunt. If you're scanning instead of living, pause. Return to the body. One task, one breath. Second, inflation. I'm chosen. I'm above feedback. Rules don't apply to me. When you feel taller than other humans, bow. Do a small, ordinary chore. Let humility reset your size. Third, reality avoidance. Using spirituality to dodge hard talks, bills, boundaries, grief. If you're tempted to float, anchor in one concrete action today. 3 anchors to keep you sane. Truth. Say shorter, truer sentences. I don't know. I need time. That crossed a line. Kindness. Protect dignity, yours and theirs. Small effectiveness. Choose the next step that reduces harm and increases truth. Fast resets. When you're spinning, feet on the floor, feel the ground, jaw soft, shoulders lower, lengthen the exhale, sip water. Look at something green, sunlight if you can, name it. I'm activated. Normalize it. Humans feel this. Navigate it. One small, helpful step now. Discernment before acting on a sign. Does it align with your values, even if no one sees? Does it ask for a tiny test, not a grand leap? Afterward, do you feel lighter, clearer, more human, not superior? Remember the 90-second wave. Strong feeling peaks and falls. If you don't feed it with story, ride the wave in your body. 90 seconds, then choose. If you are in harm's way, choose safety first. You can rebuild nuance once your nervous system can rest. Keep your circle of care human-sized. What I can do today, what I can influence by showing up, what I can only witness with compassion. Spend most energy in the first, some in the second, almost none in the third. Let humor help. I almost started a holy war over an email. Smile, exhale, write a kinder reply. When in doubt, ask, what would reduce harm and increase truth in the next hour? Do that, then rest. Next, a simple 7-day practice to weave all of this into your ordinary week. 7 days to test this in real life. Day 1, attention. In the morning, ask softly, what wants my attention today? Live normally. At night, note 3 to 5 moments that carried meaning and how your body felt. Day 2, pattern. Ask the same morning question. In the evening, circle any repeating motif. Numbers, words, faces, places. Write one sentence. If this were an answer, my true question might be. Day 3, opposites. Name 2 truths pulling you apart. I need rest, and I love excellence. Write a third sentence that could hold both for 1 week. Run a tiny experiment. Reversible, measurable. Day 4, dreams. Before sleep, dim the lights. Whisper, show me what helps. On waking, write in the present tense. One scene, one feeling, one desire. Finish the line. The dream would like me to do something tiny. Today, day 5. Witness. 3 times today, hand on chest. Hi, witness. 3 slow breaths. Ask, what is the next honest, kind, effective step. Take it. Day 6. Myth-Lens. Title your day in 5 words. Crossing the bridge. Night sea journey. Name the archetype most active and the virtue it asks for. Choose one concrete act that feeds the virtue and starves the vice. Day 7. Harvest and commit. Read your notes. Underline what repeats. Write one principle for the next month and one promise for the next week. Small enough to keep, clear enough to guide. If a day goes sideways, forgive it. Start where you are. This is not about perfection. It's about fidelity. One step at a time. Thank you for traveling this far. If something in you feels steadier or kinder, trust that. Keep your lane human-sized. Keep your promises small. Let signs illuminate, not dominate. Let dreams advise and daylight verify. Let the witness steer and the ego serve. If this episode helped, subscribe, leave a review, share it with one friend who's ready. In the comments, tell me the moment this week that felt most meaningful. I'll read them and weave a few into our next episode, where we'll go deeper into working dreams and the art of holding opposites in real relationships. Until then, truth, kindness, small effectiveness. I'll see you soon. Quick recap, the map in one breath. Synchronicity. Let meaning light the next small step. Not run your life. Transcendent function. Hold opposites until a third way appears. Dreams. Record one scene, one feeling, one desire. Then act tiny. Ego and self. 2 screens. Let the witness steer. Let the ego serve. Live mythologically. Honor the pattern. Don't wear the mask. Serve the collective by staying human-sized, truthful, and kind. Red flags, sign addiction, inflation, avoidance, antidotes, truth, kindness, small effectiveness, repeated, 1 minute close, a simple practice. Sit a little taller, soften the jaw, unclench the hands, inhale. I can be firm, exhale, and I can be kind. Inhale, I can be brave, exhale, and I can be afraid. Inhale, I can listen, exhale, and I can act. Place a hand on your chest, whisper, hi, witness, ask, what is the next honest, kind, effective step? Promise yourself to take it today. Sign off. Let signs illuminate, not dominate. Let dreams advise and daylight verify. Let the witness steer and the ego serve. Truth, kindness, small effectiveness. I'll see you soon. Subscribe so you'll catch our next episode, where we go deeper into dream work and the art of holding opposites in real relationships.